much like summer, Jordan.
Well, and you know what else is on Friday? Another Friday Night Fever that we got coming up, and the Mizzou game after that. And it looks like a beautiful weekend for football.
A little warm, but, you know, we can't complain too much. At least it's not raining, so.
I know someone who's really excited for football, though. Chris Gervino over there with Sports Extra. Take it away, Chris.
All right, Jordan, Matt, thank you both very much. Hello, everyone. Coming up on Sports Extra with Chris Gervino, we will have a look at the Chiefs trying to win their home opener after that stunning season-opening victory against the Super Bowl champions. Missouri's Major League Baseball teams trying to keep a sliver of hope alive for postseason baseball. And the Mizzou soccer team looking to continue to get its kicks and a third straight win as they try to tame the Great Danes of Albany. It's all coming up right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sports Extra with Chris Gervino. I'm Chris. Thanks for being with us. Hope you've had a great weekend. It was not a great showing, certainly for the Missouri Tiger football team. It struggled mightily Saturday afternoon at Faroe Field, falling 35-3 to the Purdue Boilermakers, and the Tigers fall to 1-2 on the young season. But as KOMU-8's Anthony Romano reports, the Tigers say they're not giving up on this season. It's way too early.
Everything felt and looked and smelled right, you know.
But it didn't go right for Missouri on Saturday, with the Tigers falling flat at the hands of Purdue 35-3, leaving the few who stayed wondering how long until tip-off at Mizzou Arena.
It's not like, you know, we go out there and like we're going to give fans a bad show today. We're going to lose the game today. You know, that's not what we do. We go out and try to win. We fight for the state. We fight for them. And sometimes it doesn't go our way.
In fact, nothing went the Tigers' way in this one. The Boilermakers marched down the field for 3 straight touchdowns to start the game and controlled the ball for nearly 3 full quarters. And even when Missouri had chances to get back in it, the Tigers squandered those opportunities.
You know, when you lose in that fashion, no, you're not really excited about the way you played, really in any aspect, in any area. So kind of look at it through a different lens, you know, here in the next few minutes and on through the night. As
an offense and, like I said, a quarterback, you know, you're going to think that, you know, it was on us today. It's not what they're doing, it's us. And you know, I truly do think that.
Locke completed just 12 of his 28 pass attempts against Purdue in his 16th loss in 19 tries against Power 5 opponents. With 15th-ranked Auburn coming to town next weekend, the road only gets tougher for the Tigers.
I'm kind of at a loss for words, but we'll be back in early tomorrow and get back to work. So, you know, we got a problem. So the next step is just fixing it.
Yeah, this is a game of imperfection. You can't be perfect in this game, and if you're perfect, then you're going to be a Hall of Famer someday because no one's ever played a perfect game.
But with 9 games still left this season, Missouri can't worry about being perfect. It just has to get better. Anthony Romano, KOMU-8 Sports, Columbia.
All right, Anthony, thank you. The Tigers' next chance to improve is 6 days away when they host the Tigers of Auburn Saturday night at 6:30. It will be the final game of the 4 straight home games to start the year at Faroe Field. Riding the wave of their 3-1 victory over Georgia to start conference play, the Mizzou soccer team welcomed Albany to Columbia in hopes of getting a 3rd straight win. The Tigers back in non-conference play tonight. Mizzou senior Ali Hess and the Tigers with plenty of shots to start this one, but they struggled to score early. 9th minute, Caitlin Clark passes to Hess, who lets loose from distance, and it is off the crossbar. Tigers and Danes still scoreless. That changed, though, 34 minutes in, thanks to sophomore Madison Lewis with a free kick. Hit it low and hard to found the back of the net. That ties Lewis for most goals on the team with 3. Tigers up 1-0. Second half, freshman Tess Relihan to Zoe Cross. Well, at least it's the shot at save, but Relihan follows it up and puts home the rebound. She added another for a team-high 4th goal on the season, and the Tigers tame the Great Danes 3-0. Mizzou has won 3 in a row. The Chiefs made a smashing debut to the new season when they smashed the Super Bowl champion Patriots in New England opening night. 10 days later, the Chiefs had their home opener today at Arrowhead Stadium against the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia off an impressive road victory over the Redskins last week, looking to double their win total, as were the Chiefs. Defensive first half, but then Philly driving in the third. Carson Wentz to Alshon Jeffrey, who dives into the end zone. Initially ruled down just shy of the goal line, but after further review, he was not touched. It's a touchdown. Philadelphia had a 10-6 lead. Later in the third, Kareem Hunt, the rookie sensation, bursts to the left, 53 yards on the touchdown run. He had 109 total yards and a pair of scores for Kansas City. After an Eagles field goal, tied it at 13, the Chiefs driving, and Alex Smith with a nice shovel pass to the tight end Travis Kelce, who does the rest, leaping in for the score. And Kansas City gets a victory, 27-20 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Wentz and company made it interesting late. They got within 7 after trailing by 14, but the Chiefs hang on for that 7-point win. They're 2-0. More NFL action. Former Chiefs receiver and Mizzou Tigers star Jeremy Maclin, now with the Baltimore Ravens, battling the Cleveland Browns. Maclin scores a touchdown, a 2-yard catch, his second TD in as many games. He had 4 catches for 31 yards, and the Ravens of Baltimore improved to 2-0 with a win 24-10. The Cleveland Indians, meanwhile, continue their torrid play. The Indians clinched their second straight American League Central Division crown with a win over the Royals in Minnesota's loss Saturday. Today, the Tribe hope to clinch a weekend series win over KC. Cleveland ace Corey Kluber, perhaps on his way to another American League Cy Young Award earning. He looks to go 17-4 today, and he was just as dominant as usual against these Kansas City Royals. Struck out Paulo Orlando. Later in the game, it's Alex Gordon, broken bat, ground out to Kluber when the Royals had threatened with the bases loaded. Kluber's 7 strong innings. In the 8th, Brandon Moss would draw KC close, back from 3-0 down to 3-2. But Cody Allen came out of the bullpen for the Tribe to get the save. Cleveland wins 3-2 to take the series. They go 12-7 against the Royals for the season, and the Indians have won 24 of their last 25 games. The Cubs could take a commanding lead over the Cardinals in the National League Central with yet another win over the Cards this afternoon. The first-place Cubbies going for a sweep of third-place St. Louis in hopes of leaving the Redbirds 6 games out of first in the Central. An overcast day at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Lance Lynn on the hill for St. Louis. He's been mighty good the second half of the season. Was pretty good today, but in the 4th, Kyle Schwarber lines one to left, and it is out over the wall. Home run, 2-0 in favor of the Cubs. But the former Cub, Dexter Fowler, responded for the Cards. 6th inning, 2 aboard. Cards down 3-0, but not for long. Fowler flies this Jose Quintana offering over the wall left to tie it up at 3, but the Cubs were not done. Next inning, it's the former Cardinal, Jason Hayward, returning the favor with a shot into left to score Anthony Rizzo to put the Cubs up 4-3. That will be the final. They sweep away St. Louis, and the Cards are 6 games out, but still just 4.5 back of Colorado for the second NL wild card spot.
From the Ford Sports Desk, Sports Xtra with Chris Gervino is brought to you by Columbia Appliance, Columbia's volume Whirlpool dealer. U.S. Cellular, hello better. And Menards, save big money on all your home improvement needs.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. It's time now for our SEC Saturday segment as we take you around the conference, and we'll start with Missouri's next opponent, the Auburn Tigers, who played the Mercer Bears on homecoming at Auburn's Jordan-Hare Stadium. Non-conference play for Auburn, looking to come back from a tough loss against Clemson. And the run game, the story in this one, as it usually is for the Auburn Tigers, I guess going back to the Bo Jackson days. They don't have him anymore, but they do have a big, talented back. And that is Cameron Petway, who put Auburn up 7-0. Then he scores again, his second touch of the game. He's a big guy running that football for Auburn. Mercer really hung in there against Auburn and kept his game relatively close, folks. This is a touchdown for the Mercer Bears. They're down by just 7 points in the 4th quarter, 17-10, but Auburn looking to put it away, and of course it goes to Petway, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and Auburn wins it 24-10. The Auburn Tigers now 2-1, ranked 15th in the country, coming to Columbia to play Mizzou Saturday night. Let's move along. Florida and Tennessee, game of the day in the SEC. Tennessee showing support for Florida in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma with a Florida decal on the Tennessee helmets. And most of the scoring happening late in this game. Florida with a pick six. Every time we show Gator highlights, they're scoring a touchdown on defense, it seems, with an interception return. Again, that's the case this weekend. But this time, Quentin Dormady throws it to his own guy, tight end Ethan Wolf. That is a Tennessee touchdown. And then a field goal for the Vols, tied at 20. Final seconds of the game. This is remarkable. It's tied up. Felipe Franks flings it downfield. And how in the world does Tennessee let the receiver behind the defense on the final play of the game? They did. Tyree Cleveland caught it for the win, and the Gators win it 26-20 over the Volunteers. How about SEC West action? LSU visiting Mississippi State, and the Bulldogs have an outstanding running back, Nick Fitzgerald. There he leaps in 3 yards. Bulldogs up in Starkville 7-zip. Tigers respond, touchdown of their own. They've got a couple of good backs again this year, Darius Geis, and this is Darrell Williams. Ball game tied at 7 in the first half, but from that point on, all Mississippi State. Fitzgerald here with a touchdown pass to Dedrick Thomas, and Mississippi State rolls to victory, surprising the margin of victory, 37-7, a 30-point win over LSU. Let's go on. More action now as we continue in Nashville. The Vanderbilt Commodores against the Kansas State Wildcats of the Big 12 Conference. And Vandy, with its usual strong defense, playing a low-scoring game with Kansas State. And the quarterback, Pat Shurmur, here, off what appeared to be a busted play, gets Vanderbilt in scoring position after K-State had tied it at 7, and this is now Jesse Ertz, the quarterback for Kansas State, scrambling late in the game, and he would come up short, and Vandy, as usual, when it wins with defense, as the Commodores got a low-scoring win in Nashville, 14-7. Now let's take a look at tonight's Sports Extra Sports Trivia question. We showed you Florida's game-winning pass. It was the longest touchdown pass as time expired in football bowl subdivision play since 2002. Which team threw that pass in 2002? The answer later. Well, welcome back, everyone. And joining us now is Brad Trinago from the Tiger Radio Network. He's involved in the football broadcast, hosting the pregame show. He also is involved with Missouri Tiger basketball. Won't that be exciting coming up soon? Brad's the voice of the women's team and, of course, follows the men closely as well. Good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being out here, Brad. Well, a long, difficult day for Missouri Saturday against Purdue. I'm not sure anybody saw that coming, at least to the level of a beating it was by the Boilermakers of the Tigers.
My thoughts on that are, man, the Chiefs look great today, huh? How about that? Kareem Hunt looks really good. That Travis Kelce touchdown. I mean, he jumped from the 5, which is really like the 15-foot line. It's like dunking from the free throw line,
I
basically.
I was helping you with your appearance by mentioning Tiger basketball. No, right. You can't even gloss over Tiger basketball football.
Right. I mean, Barry Odom, talking after the game to the media, said something along the lines of, we performed really, really poorly. And I really don't have much to add to that. I mean, it's just hard to find any facet where that game went well Saturday.
I suppose it's probably fair for me to assume that you're surprised as well by Missouri's 1-2 start with, the first 3 games at home and just the way they've unfolded, huh?
Yeah, well, the way they unfolded. I think that's the main thing that is really surprising about what we've seen so far. I mean, that South Carolina game, turns out South Carolina's pretty salty, and unfortunately it looks like Deebo Samuel's going to be out for South Carolina, but boy, what a talent he is. So you see a game like that, you say, okay, you change a play here, you change a play there. Maybe the complexion of that South Carolina game changes. But with the Purdue game on Saturday, that wasn't one play or 2 play. It wasn't one player or 2 players. It was just all around just some significant issues that need to be changed at the core of this program right now.
Interesting that South Carolina, by the way, though, did lose at home to Kentucky Saturday night, so there's that. And now, Brad, it doesn't get any easier for Missouri. I mean, just 3 games down, 9 to go. The bulk of the SEC slate ahead, starting with 15th-ranked Auburn Saturday night at Faurot Field. So another home game for the Tigers, but arguably their toughest customer yet, certainly by rankings, you would say so.
I would certainly think it will be their toughest customer so far. And if you're looking for signs of optimism somewhere. You could tell yourself, you know, if a regular season is like a football game, the first quarter is all we've seen so far. So there are still 3 more quarters to go here, where theoretically there is still time to turn this thing around for Mizzou. Also, if you go back historically, even, you know, Gary Pinkel and Larry Smith in recent vintage, you go back and look at their records the first couple of years that they were at Mizzou. It wasn't a, you know, snap your fingers, instant turnaround type of thing. So there's still time here. You know, certainly not the start that Mizzou fans wanted, but there is still time. The problem is, like you said, the schedule appears to get harder from here, and Auburn is certainly a very talented team, and that, you know, competitive result against Clemson looks better now that we saw what Clemson did to the Heisman Trophy winner and Louisville yesterday.
And I guess finally, before we move off football, that's the thing fans need to have some hope to hang on to, because it wasn't a huge crowd to begin with. They left early, and those that stayed, and albeit it was the student side, were really letting the Tiger players have it there on their own field.
Yeah, you know, it was an unfortunate atmosphere all around, again, like you said. And, you know, with Auburn in town, I mean, at a minimum, you got to think there'll be kind of a cooler atmosphere. Auburn, I believe, is the last team that Mizzou football has not seen in the SEC, so it's an opponent we don't see very often. You would think that would bring up some folks from Auburn looking to check this place out, and some fans from Mizzou trying to check out the team, too. So that, you know, primetime game, so that can help, too. So hopefully that'll help things out come Saturday.
Right, the one meeting so far in football between the 2013 championship game in the SEC in Atlanta, which Auburn outscored Missouri 59-42. I think they're still scoring touchdowns in that game, right? Back and forth. All right, well, that game was like a basketball score, that 59-42. But how about Tiger basketball? Ladies first, and I know you've been associated with that program now since it started playing the SEC. And, Brad, you know, they've earned this pressure, if you call it, but this should be Robin Pinchin's best team yet. It's certainly your best roster after back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances and second-round showings.
Well, you look at, you know, if I had to guess, and it's very early, and we'll see here. If I had to guess the starting 5, you'd probably start with Lauren Aldridge, who was the top scorer for Kansas before she transferred. You'd probably have Sophie Cunningham on one wing, All-American, former SEC Freshman of the Year. The other wing would probably have Amber Smith, who was the co-freshman of the year last season. In the post, you'd have Jordan Frericks, who's a former All-SEC performer who tore her ACL, missed last season. And you'd have Sierra Porter, who is the sister of the talented Porter boys, who we'll see on the court also for Mizzou coming up this season.
Can I just politely say, if that's not the starting 5, we may start a Target 8 investigation. I mean, why wouldn't it be, you know? Well, those are 5 really good players. I know they've got young talent behind them, but come on, it's got to be.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's so exciting, is that they do have a lot of talent behind them that you would think would, you know, at least be able to push them. There are players also that are veterans, that Kayla, well, it was Kayla McDowell. I think it's Kayla Michael now. She just got married a few months ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's somebody who has started before. You know, she's had some knee issues, but it's just one example of players who have seen some quality minutes on the court that'll be able to push those 5 if they're not the starters. But you're talking about 5 who have been either all-conference or near all-conference performers in your starting lineup alone. I mean, I would guess they're going to be preseason top 20. Coach Pinchton has said their goal is to be a top 15 team, which really is code for you want to be in that top 16, because in the NCAA women's tournament, the top 4 seeds in every region get to host, and that adds up to roughly the top 16 teams in the country. And I think this team is going to be on that type of bubble, if you will, to be able to host an NCAA tournament regional.
Well, here it comes, all the expectation from outside the program. Again, that's to their credit, because they've earned it the last couple of years. Real quickly, you mentioned the Porter brothers. I mean, that building ought to be so much fun. They ought to be life at Mizzou Arena for the men's and women's teams. Aren't you excited for this winter?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be terrific. I mean, of course, on the men's side, you bring in a potentially transcendent talent in Michael Porter Jr. Oh, by the way, his younger brother, Jonte, is a 5-star caliber
good
player.
Also.
Really good. I mean, you've got Tillman in the post, too. What's interesting is, especially with the way that the college game is going, to where you have more wing-type players out there and fewer posts, I mean, it's possible that either Jonte Porter or Jeremiah Tillman would not start, and these are 2 just completely, you know, upper-crust level talents that Mizzou has not seen a lot in a handful of years. So it's just been such a dramatic turnaround. this offseason under Coach Martin, and it'll be really exciting on the men's side, and like I mentioned, the women's side. The women don't play as many home games this year, and actually they're probably going to end up playing more games on the road than they play at home, which is not very common for a Power 5 school like Mizzou is. But the quality of those games, I mean, they're going to have both NCAA finalists in town, South Carolina, Mississippi State. Tennessee will be coming in the non-conference, Kansas State, Illinois on the women's side, Illinois in a home game. So it's really going to be, both men and women, should be a lot of fun.
Should be. And, you know, the men, they would have a big NBA front line if they desire to. Because in this day and age, the NBA is going smaller ball, too. But, I mean, the Tigers, by NBA standards, will be big among quality players that they could and will likely play on the court. It should be a lot of fun. I know you'll enjoy it, Brad.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. The pride of Moberly, Missouri. And now he's heard all over the state and beyond on the Tiger Radio Network, Brad Trinago. We're back right after this.
KOMU-8's Friday Night Fever Play of the Week is brought to you by Culver's of Columbia.
Welcome back, everyone. We will have the Play of the Week nominees in just a moment. But first, other high school sports for you. The softball and baseball fall seasons are really winding down almost, if you can believe that already. But a couple of teams used one of their last games for a good cause. KOMU-8's Erin Reynolds reports how two teams from Glasgow rallied the community to raise money for a local cancer center.
Along with the usual black and gold, there was pink everywhere at Gold Star Park in Glasgow, Missouri Tuesday night. The teams hosted their annual Pink Out game to raise awareness and funds for a local cancer center.
It gives the kids something fun to look forward to, something fun for them to do. It makes them aware that life isn't always a bed of roses. Cancer affects everybody.
And for one of the players, it has affected her quite a bit.
My grandpa actually passed away from cancer, so it's like really impacted on me.
Monning said she was excited for the Pink Out game in particular because it allows the community to come together to support a good cause. Money is raised through t-shirt sales and a raffle. The proceeds will benefit Fitzgibbon Cancer Center in Marshall, Missouri.
Because I do think it gives the kids something fun to look forward to, and it gives the teams in the Booster Club to give back to the community that gives so much to our school.
Erin Reynolds, KOMU-8 Sports, Glasgow.
All right, Erin, thank you very much. The teams ended up raising more than $500 for the Cancer Center. Now it is time to offer the nominees for our Friday Night Fever Play of the Week for week number 5, as the regular season is now more than halfway through. Remember, just 9 regular season weeks with the newer format the last several years, with the 10th week really district playoffs, and everybody's involved at least for that 10th game. Here we go. Nominees: Rockbridge junior running back Nathaniel Pete, a Missouri recruiting target, gets the handoff, bursts up the middle, and bursts to the end zone. 68-yard touchdown in the Bruins' big victory over the Hickman Cupies. Our second play comes from the School of the Osage. Indians quarterback Zach Wheeler rolls out of the pocket, finds Austin Magnuson on a screen, and he does the rest, dodging would-be tacklers on his way for a 73-yard touchdown as Osage lost a thriller to Southern Boone County 55-51. Third and final nominee is a tremendous back-of-the-end-zone reception. Chris Evans makes the catch off the Alex Young pass for the West Strand Hornets and a touchdown, but Fayette handed West Strand its first loss of the season. You can log on, KOMU.com, to vote for your favorite Friday Night Fever Play of the Week for week number 5. Voting starts Monday mornings at 8, ends Friday afternoons at 3, and we give you the winner Friday evening at 6 during our live sportscast. This week we're in Centralia, by the way, for the Panthers and the Mexico Bulldogs, our game of the week for week 6. Now, time to answer our sports trivia question. Earlier we asked, what team threw the longest game-winning touchdown pass as time expired in football bowl subdivision play back in 2002. Florida won on a thriller yesterday over Tennessee. This was another SEC team in an New Kentucky matchup. Marcus Randall, 75-yard touchdown to Devery Henderson as LSU beat Kentucky in the Bluegrass Miracle. Wow, exciting stuff in SEC football. Folks, that's our show. Thank you for staying up with us. We'll see you throughout the week. So long, everybody.